Children of the sun, see your time has just begun. Searching for your ways through adventures every day and night. With the condor in flight, with all your friends in tow, you search for the cities of gold. Wishing for the cities of gold. Someday we will find the cities of gold. Do-do-do-do-do. Cities of gold. Do-do-do-do-do. Cities of gold. Someday we will find the cities of gold.
Hang on, is that
Story of my life.
is that shirt?
I didn't even realise I was wearing it.
No, I noticed a dragon.
English dub.
Yeah.
Man, I miss making this documentary.
I know, man.
It's about time we get back into it, you know?
Well, like I said, it's been a year since I've seen you or whatever, so
Yeah.
it's about time we certainly.
What, did you watch the whole series in one go?
I'll probably see the series about
Yeah.
maybe 6 or 7 times.
That's
in
incredible.
full from now,
Yeah. Man, I still can't believe that in such a short period of time, since the creation of that Facebook page, the petition for the Twins of Destiny,
Yeah.
so many of the fans came together and contributed their own piece of the puzzle in bringing the whole series back, because there was that girl, Jennifer Stevens, who basically gave us a birthday present. She gave us the entire series back.
Well, yeah, barring 27,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
She found them all
Pretty amazing.
in videotapes in her garage.
I know, but that's the thing. A lot of us, we have that story. You know,
Yeah.
we tape stuff like old cartoons and old shows and stuff like that
Yeah,
off
yeah.
TV.
But how many times do we overwrite them?
Yeah,
you know?
with other episodes
Yeah.
or like random stuff, like
Yeah.
some special event or something, like a metal wedding.
I also love it how we kind of started with the Twins of Destiny. That was what the documentary started as
Yeah.
a hunt for this rare and, you know,
Definitely unique.
completely forgotten series by one of the most famous and well-known animation companies in the world, DIC.
Yeah.
And to think that it started as a documentary about Twins of Destiny, and it evolved over time into a story about Jean Chalopin.
Well, we never even know, who Jean was.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
how deep the rabbit hole actually went when
Yeah.
he started to look, more into what he did and
Yeah.
who he was as a person.
See, that's what's fascinating, is that all these other animation companies like Disney and Warner Brothers, they're all named after their creators.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and that's how you know the person behind the legend, so to speak. But DIC had no reference at all to Jean Chalopin. So
Yeah.
he's like the man behind a facade.
Yeah, that's true. There isn't really sort of a personification you can put
Yeah.
to DIC. It's
Exactly.
just the moon, whatever the kid on the moon, like.
It was like a kid sleeping,
Yeah,
and then the camera kind of zooms
out
in
of the
through his
bedroom.
window. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and then the thing comes out. We grew up watching all of his shows, like Dennis the Menace, He-Man, the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Gadget.
Inspector Gadget is his most famous creation. In the early 80s, I still remember Mysterious Cities of Gold,
Yep.
Ulysses 31. Inspector Gadget was like the most popular show on TV, but the one show I remember the most is the one least remembered by everybody else, and that's the Twins of Destiny. It was made in 1991, and in 1995 it was the only time I think it was shown in Australia.
On ABC.
On ABC.
Actually, yeah.
And it was, what I loved about it was that every episode was a continuation of a bigger story.
Well, you always had the shows before it, like Rugrats and random funny sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like
what other shows were there? There was Rugrats,
Johnson and Friends.
Johnson and Friends, I love that.
Classic.
Round the Twist,
But
Ship to Shore.
all of them pretty much comedies.
Yeah.
just fun little filler sort of
fun
things.
little, very innocent.
But here was like a serious, sometimes dark, sometimes funny, but
Yeah.
usually very mature and sometimes violent too.
Yeah.
Serial, you know,
Exactly.
so like a continuing story.
Yeah.
That's probably a lot of its appeal too back then, because you did have a lot of shows that were just that filler and fun.
Yeah.
But then you got this major, it's almost like a movie that's been cut into, I think it was 52 episodes?
Yeah.
So like 52 pieces
Okay,
or
how's it
so.
going?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Too bad.
Okay. As usual.
My usual. Do you need a menu?
What's his usual? I'm curious.
He always have a cheeseburger combo with a Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
So that's with the fries, bacon, and
It's
drink.
good, man. It's good.
That's his
I'm not even
favorite.
sure if I like Dr. Pepper, but you know what? I'll go for that one.
Yeah?
You can have a different drink if you
Yeah,
like.
get a different drink.
I might like it though.
Yeah. These adventurers, I like that.
Yeah, I gotta
So
be
two
adventurous.
cheeseburger combos.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much, Randy. How you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, such an amazing childhood we had.
We were lucky.
And his shows were such a big part of that.
They really
You know,
were,
and Twins
like-
of Destiny was definitely one of those that just can't escape me ever since I finished primary school. And I've grown up, there are these images that have stayed with me for so long. Even the music, you know.
Definitely the music.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
music was fantastic.
constantly humming it just at random times
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Amazing music, and just the story was breathtaking. I mean, it was a journey across all of Europe, through to China.
Nearly everywhere.
Yeah, it
Like,
went everywhere, and it was a very dark, very mature story for a children's program.
And when you're just going back on the globetrotting thing, when you're at school too,
Yeah.
it's almost like a masterclass in
Yeah.
like geography and history and everything too. Like it was so underlooked,
Yeah,
but you know, you go back and watch it, and it holds up incredibly well.
it holds up incredibly
Yeah.
well.
Still compare
And
it to many shows, like, you know.
the kind of themes that it
Yeah.
explored as well, for a child to be given those lessons.
Do you remember the warning at the start? It was like, may contain violence, may contain adult.
Was there a warning? I
There
totally
was.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Did it show up in some of those VHS recordings that were uploaded?
I think maybe one or two of them.
Okay.
But that's one of the things, like you were
You
saying,
remember,
things
yeah.
that stuck in my mind.
Yeah. And there was a lot of violence. There was a lot
Yeah.
of, you know, themes of mistrust
Yep.
and not knowing if the person who comes across as kind and generous might turn against you
Yeah,
at
you
any
never
given
know.
moment. And it had that sense that you could only trust your sibling, because it was a story about, you know, a brother and a sister, both twins, but from different backgrounds. One was an Asian, and one was a Caucasian blonde girl from France.
Yeah.
And how they had these special powers because they were born on this specific day and time. And
Yeah, very traditional
Yeah.
sort of Chinese story that went with that.
absolutely.
But
And I love that whole story about the prophecy that one day
Yeah.
they would grow up to defeat.
Emperor Dowager's
Yes, the Empress.
evil Empress Dowager. I think a
and
lot of its appeal too was that, like, yeah, well, we knew it, we loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I never knew.
but we had no
obviously,
idea what it really meant until
Yeah.
we interviewed Jean Chalopin on Skype.
Exactly.
It was. I still can't believe we interviewed the man, the legend,
Yeah.
who created all those shows on Skype live twice. He gave us like an hour every time, and he really just kind of gave us everything we wanted to know about his life.
He was very generous. It was
Very
like
generous.
a bio on him almost. Like
Yeah.
he was extremely forthcoming
Yeah.
in what he was telling us and what we,
Yeah.
you know, what we really wanted to know.
What I was so fascinated by was that Twins of Destiny, of all the shows that were so successful, so popular, so famous, that was his heart and soul. That was his baby. That was the one he was most proud of.
That was very elating to hear, because, you know,
To him and to us.
yeah, but the fact that our favourite show, or probably of any piece of media for me, like,
Yeah.
I really rate that very, very high.
Yeah.
The fact that that was his favourite and he cares about that one the most
Yeah.
really means a lot. And it was really quite amazing to hear him actually say that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not just him, oh yeah, I like that one. It's like, no, this was my baby. This was
But you
the
know
one I put
what the greatest
everything
irony
into.
was?
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Good, good. Maybe some drinks?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you
very
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Get some
so much.
sauce.
Ah, thank you.
Better come.
Beautiful. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Les.
Beautiful. Gotta keep it American.
What was so ironic was that we call our documentary English Dub, thinking that Twins of Destiny was like dubbed into English as a last minute thing, because Australia was the only English-speaking country where it was shown.
And we weren't to know that. You would have
Yeah.
thought a show like that seemed to have a lot of appeal, you would have been all over the world. America.
Particularly because up until 1991, when it was made, so many of these shows were translated to English. Produced even in English.
That's really nice.
It is. Dr. Pepper's great.
Piloting that kind of a show, like the serial idea, where it's like I said, like a big movie cut up into like little bits.
But he did that with Mysterious Cities of Gold. He did that with Ulysses 31 as well.
He did.
That was not an issue. I think they just wanted to see what it was going to be like here. That's my interpretation. Because it wasn't replayed here ever again. Never rebroadcast.
Yeah,
only in 1995, 4 years after it was made.
I think, again, because of the violence and the stylized violence and the adult themes and that sort of thing, possibly because it was on ABC, it was very much geared towards children. It wasn't exactly an experimental, such as like SBS or 31, something like that.
You know what? That's probably why it didn't do so well, because of its themes. Maybe there were complaints by stay-at-home mums.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Even maybe some people internally would think, oh, can we actually put this on?
I found that show terrifying when I was a kid, man, because certain episodes had them running away from the eunuchs.
The eunuchs, yeah.
Eunuchs had always the axes in their hands, and you never knew around which corner they were going to emerge and corner them and kill them.
And we're talking about children here, like 12-year-olds. Yeah, kill them.
And there was some graphic scenes which really inspired some images in your mind.
The one that's going through my head right now, ironically, a wheel, is T-Ben, the guy. He has a hook hand for one thing, which is pretty dark. Getting his hand run over by a horse and cart.
Yeah.
This is a 6 o'clock ABC Friday.
Yeah. What about towards the
home
end?
from school, and you're seeing this, and he's like,
But who's the leader of the eunuchs again? Po Dung. He was the scariest one of them all because he was clever. All his goons were stupid, but he was clever.
Yeah.
And he was always one step either in front or behind. The circumstances never allowed him to get too close to the children, but he was very smart.
T-Ben, the guy I said who had hook hand, after his hand got run over, he got the hook hand, and then he got killed by a train.
So that was him who got killed by the train.
Yeah, so he didn't have a good run, actually. His hook actually got caught in the train tracks when he was trying to attack Sabatier. Very French, very, again, sort of traditional character for a French animation.
What a unique revelation it was towards the end when we find out that Sabatier and some of the other characters were the very same person.
Yeah, they were essentially the guardian angel. The
guardian angel
archetypes. Keep making sure they are successful in their journey and keeping them away from harm, even though they did come to harm quite a bit.
The first show that Chalopin produced for the company was in 1981, Ulysses 31, and it was a space kind of sci-fi recreation of the Odyssey, the Homer legend.
It's almost like one of the first kind of space opera.
I love that.
Sort of things.
Yeah. Shortly after the Star Wars phenomenon of 1977.
Certainly.
Oh, there were many rip-offs of Star Wars, both animated and live action. But Ulysses 31 was one of my favourites. So popular in Europe. It's so big in Europe. I mean, remember how we made contact with Chalopin in the first place? It was those two guys, Marwan and Nordine. Yes.
Don't you have a book or something you got from them?
Yeah, I bought a book from them from France. It was that book that they created through which we made contact with Chalopin. Because I remember...
That's right, that was the link.
That was the link, yeah. Because, it's a shame Lee couldn't make it today because, he's making a documentary with us and it's a shame we haven't caught up in so long, but it was actually Lee who found that book by Marwan and Nordine.
Yeah, after digging through.
Online.
Yep.
I emailed them and they replied, and Chalopin emailed me the day after. That was incredible.
Yeah, that would have been quite amazing.
That was the most...
And not some copy-paste sort of publicity.
No, man.
Him
a real
down,
personal email.
to you.
Yeah. I think he found it equally as surprising that someone on the other side of the world from Australia,
Yeah.
from a country he probably never even thinks about,
Not from his native.
Yeah.
Yeah.
would call him about a show that nobody remembers.
And yet, quite possibly his absolute favourite.
It was his favourite.
Oh yeah.
And how amazing was that revelation that Twins of Destiny was based on his own life, his own children. He married a beautiful model from Malaysia.
Singer. Oh, was it Malaysia?
Yeah,
Okay.
she was a Malaysian model. And when he had a child coming along, their first child, they didn't know whether it was going to look Asian or European.
Yeah, that's
So there was that, you know, that...
question mark sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a
that
question mark.
unknown.
They just didn't know.
Yeah.
And some of those anxieties and fears and not knowing what was going to happen
Yeah. And also excitement too.
and excitement, yeah, came through in that show.
Yeah, but when he was talking about the idea, and it was a script, it was a book.
That's what was so fascinating. We're looking for an English dub of a really rare show that was released heavily in Europe,
Yeah.
and then we find out that it was a show originally written in English.
But that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might.
He sold DIC in 1987, I think, but his other company, C&D Productions, I think he sold that in
C&D,
2008.
That's right.
All his shows went with it to Disney.
Disney's
Inspector Gadget.
Lost Vault.
Yeah, everything. I think he's involved in one way or another with the Mysterious Cities of Gold, the new seasons.
And the movie. There's apparently a movie coming out. There's still a website with
Do you think that was a fan-made trailer? I'm not sure if there's a real live-action movie coming out based on
But
that.
do you remember that they had the panel with him? And
But was that for
talking
live
about-
action or the
It
new
was for
series?
the movie coming out.
It was?
Yeah, supposed
Oh, wow.
to be possibly 2018 or something.
That's crazy.
And they wanted to do like a trilogy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what shows did he do? He did Dennis the Menace,
I was surprised that he did
He-Man,
honestly.
yeah, The New Adventures of He-Man.
Oh,
He
the
did the Real Ghostbusters cartoon series.
And these are shows that are still very sort of in vogue at the moment. There's going to be a new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
Like, obviously he didn't create Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But the fact is he kept the legacy going.
absolutely.
And it's still going.
He did the Care Bears as well, which up until that point was just a gift card, a greetings card series that you could find in news agencies around France.
Really?
Yeah. He made a TV show out of the Care Bears.
Everyone
Yeah.
would know, what the Care Bears is, or their sister, or someone, or a girlfriend.
My sister loved the Care Bears.
Yeah.
You know,
But
I don't
that's how universal he is without anyone actually
knowing who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the Littles. Do you remember the Littles? It was really popular in Europe. I'm not sure.
They
if it was
lived in a
popular.
kitchen, did they? There was
Yeah.
a movie and an English version of it. I have a rough idea of what they did.
I think another one he was heavily involved in was Botsmaster. That's something he's really proud of as well.
That's another one that's very obscure and
Yeah,
just
obscure here.
not like a Transformers one. Or?
It's kind of like Transformers with
Yeah.
machines that were sentient and could transform and stuff like that.
Yep.
There's one guy I want to interview face to face in Sydney. He's the one who worked for ABC and signed Twins of Destiny to the channel. And I had a lengthy conversation with him on the phone, but that's not enough. I really want to have him face to face because he was really important.
You know what was funny too is
Great
that
show.
I was going to tape, like I was like, this is so good, I want to have this, and I thought, no, I'll wait till it shows again and get it from the start, VHS obviously, and it never came back.
Oh.
It's your biggest surprise.
Thank you so much, Rick.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Right. Yeah, but it's just a rarity, something so amazing.
Yeah.
So damn hard to find.
We've done this green screen footage. Remember when we...
I remember that.
Yeah, oh, you remember that. Hopefully we could use that in the documentary when we finish it.
I'm sure we could. We could always shoot more if we have to.
It's a shame he didn't come to that comic kind of pop culture fest that Lee and I went to.
Supernova?
Yeah, it was Supernova. We came in this shirt, both of us, and we filmed all these different fans of, comic books and anime and all. So many people that we were handing out those pamphlets to remembered the Twins of Destiny. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. I can't wait to show you that footage.
I would love to see that. There's a lot of footage.
We recorded about 2 hours of that. And I met some people at that Supernova that were the organisers and remember it watching Twins of Destiny when they were kids, because they were about my age.
Wow.
So
it definitely did stick
well, we
with
can
a lot of
interview
people.
them as well,
Yeah.
because they're organisers of that fest. You know, to really go and make this documentary real and great, we need to go overseas. We need to go to Japan, to go to the studios where Chalopin made all his most famous shows, animated, all of them.
Yep.
We can meet some of his colleagues and get a tour. That would be great for our doco. And then go to France and actually meet Chalopin and have a one-on-one proper interview with him. You know, and he can show us around his home and...
All of his work.
would you be up to going to France?
Absolutely.
Most of the, half the series was in France. It was only when they left France that the rest of the series was all over the world.
And they weren't made up locations either.
Real.
all
Marseille
real.
and Lyon and, yeah. All over the place.
Yeah. But again, as a kid, just going back a little bit to what we were going about, as a kid, to learn all that sort of stuff, and being entertained by it, edutainment, if you will.
It is an
That was
entertainment,
amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The show was a lot like Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne.
Kind of is, actually.
Yeah. You learn about the world, you learn about some of the harsh realities of life, that you can't trust everybody. Everyone has their own conflicts of interest, their own ambitions, their own fears as well.
Yeah, but that was a very sort of human aspect they put into
Yeah.
it, that whole... You can't really trust everyone.
Because not all that betrayed
People
them, not all the people that betrayed them in that show were evil. They just thought they were doing the right thing. They had no idea that what they were about to do would put the children in such danger.
Or they were threatened.
Yeah. So some of those realities were explored in such depth. Who would have thought that such a great show, so much passion would go into it, would become so obscure and down the track?
I know.
But yeah, I mean, Jennifer, she really gave us a birthday present, because now we've pretty much got the whole series. Some episodes are slightly incomplete. Some of them are half complete. Episode 27 is still missing. But we've pretty much got the entire series, and we can appreciate it. As bad quality as some of the episodes are, we can still watch it. But mate, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up until we have the whole series in perfect,
Pristine
DVD
as it's supposed
quality.
to be seen.
Yeah. I read this article about how hand-drawn animation shows were coming to the end of their life, really. They were losing popularity. A lot of companies that were producing them were losing money, because people were now preferring to watch computer-animated cartoons
the
instead
CGI
of...
sort of stuff.
Yeah. Chalopin was smart. He got out of there nice and quick, right on time. Just before hand-drawn animation companies were going bust. Because his company dominated the entire industry for almost 2 decades, from the early 80s to the mid-90s.
Yeah, mid to late 90s.
Yeah. He produced some live-action movies, like 2 Disney movies. Inspector Gadget, the live version of his live-action version of his show.
Which was good.
But also Trailer the Panda, made in 1999. It's a film set in China, Disney movie. It's a great movie, man. You gotta watch it.
Film set in China. Yeah, he has an affinity with
Asia.
history. Yeah, Asia and history. Like,
But he spends so much time in Asia. You have to remember, the first time he left France in his life was when he was 26 years old, to pursue his animation career, producing career in Japan.
yeah.
And it was when he was 26 that he was introduced to English for the first time. He learned English on the job. And that's where he obviously produced his first show, Ulysses 31, in Japan. So he spent a lot of time. He had his 2 headquarters for DIC was in Japan and in LA, in America.
Okay.
Movie starts in 5 minutes, so...
No, cheers. Alright. I have to come back here. This place was great.
Yeah, it's great, huh?
Alright.
Oh, cool. Let's do this.
Woo, woo.